Well, hello and welcome to Knife Delights. Hey, I've just ordered some new tools here, some accessories for my Dremel, and I got these off of Amazon. And we got 69 pieces of different abrasive brushes and wire wheels. This is sandpaper, which I don't think I'll ever be using or not use much, but that, and then some wire brushes. And then we've got several different, well, it's almost like a Scotch-Brite type thing with different weights to it. I'm assuming it works like sandpaper. So I'm going to start out here with the number 120, probably the roughest. And we've got this wonderful old Klein, well, it could be a pruning knife. It was also used as a electrician's knife. They like the Hawkbill blade for splitting wires and such. So we've got this wonderful Klein Tools here, and we're going to start cleaning it up, and we're going to test out these pads as we go along. Well, before we get started here, I guess I should give you a good close look there. You can see all the rust. I think I soaked this in rust remover once. I can't remember. This is out of that basket of knives. But I just thought I'd give you a shot of the appearance of it before we get started. There we go. So let's just see how these pads work. Now I'm using just my rubbing compound here. Look at old number 7. And let's just see if we can't get these blades cleaned up a little bit, huh? I'm not pressing down. Oh, I'm getting some sparks. Was that sparks? Or just little pieces of this fiber coming off? Almost looks like there's little sparks coming, doesn't it? I would wear eye protection. I'm not pressing down very hard. This is aggressive, very aggressive. What I'm wondering is that scratching the blade? That's the big thing. Is it actually scratching? Alright, it almost looks like it's scratching. I don't know. Let's check this out, because we don't want to scratch the blade. This one might be a little too aggressive. Now, cleaned it right up, but it looks like it scratched it. So, let's check, and that was 120. Let's try the 400. I think this is the 400. That might be a little too aggressive. I'll just try it out here. Yeah, it looks like it scratched it up. We'll see if we use this a little less aggressive of a pad. What I'm looking to do is save some time. Using the felt pads, it can take a long time to work on that heavy rust. Okay, let's take a look-see here. Okay, so I'm not so sure that it scratched the metal. It may have just been, well, yeah. I don't know, it's hard to say if it actually scratched the metal or if it's just uneven in the cleaning. So let's start with this less aggressive one on this side and see what happens. There's some heavy rust on this one. Even there with that aggressive rust, this one seems to be taking it off pretty good, doesn't it? I don't really see any scratching using this one. Let's just work on it just a tad bit more. See what we get. It's really heavy right there. Try to get down in that nail nick. And this is why you use old knives when you're experimenting with new methods, because you wouldn't want to take Grandpa's old heirloom knife and scratch it all up using the wrong pad on it. So that's why it's always good to test it. Okay, so I don't see that it's really scratched it. Well, that one looks like it's scratched. Now those might buff out later. It's not real deep. But it does look like it scratched it. So I'd be careful using that heavy duty one. Alright, let's work on these back springs here just a minute. See how we do back here. Now the trick is it's a pretty wide here. So we got to be careful not to hit the covers. Try to do this at an angle. A bit slower speed. Be very careful here. This is what's always tough, is this round part here. Okay. This, I can see this would be kind of hard to use on your thinner knives because you might hit the covers. But it cleaned it up pretty good, didn't it? For just an initial pass. Okay, let's take a look-see down inside here, see what we got. It's not too bad down in there. Got a little rust and gunky stuff down in there. So let's just poke and prod just a little bit. See if we can get anything out of there. Oh yeah, getting a little bit of stuff. I think I'm going to throw this back in the rust remover here. Just a little bit. To work on that spot right there. See if we can't get some of that out. Really some tough stuff down in there. Okay. Well, I'm just going to poke and prod on it here a little bit more and throw it back into the rust remover. Well, I let this soak for about an hour and a half in the rust remover. And this is kind of what we're looking like right now. I thought I'd try a different attachment here. This is the red one, and it shows it to be 320. So let's just see. Let's start with some flits here. Let's see if what this 320 does on here. And just keep experimenting away. This knife's cleaning up pretty nice, don't you think? Alrighty. Of course, we'll go to a felt pad for the final cleaning, but these pads seem to speed up the process quite a bit. I can't tell if it's scratching it or not. Maybe the bolster will tell. No, I don't really think it is. And it's hard to tell on the blades because they've been used, so those scratches might have already been there. Let's check this back side here. See what happens on it. Nice to experiment with new things. And I think this is the side that I started out with that really rough pad. We kind of thought it had scratched it some. I can't tell if it's scratching or if it's just uneven. Alright, let's take a look here. So I don't think it really scratched that bolster either. I guess I would say go careful with it. Again, these blades might have had some scratches in them already, so it's hard to tell. I think that it might be a little bit aggressive. I would not, if I had a mirror polish blade on like a newer knife or something, I would not be using these. I think they're too aggressive. Yeah. Okay. Let's switch over to some felt pads and see what happens. Okay, let's see what happens with the felt pad. Again, I'm using the flits. cleaned her right up, didn't it? A little bit more even. There's that bolster. Looking pretty good. Try the other side here. This is the one that was scratched up pretty heavy. And we'll just see what happens. Looking pretty good, isn't she? Oh yeah. Of course, you always got to buff it out good. Yep, I think it did scratch it using that aggressive one. So that's just something to keep in mind. Now, this is an old work knife, folks. So this is meant to be, you know, used heavy duty, if you will. And if you got an old one and it's severely rusted and you want to use one of those, you know, pads that's very aggressive and it scratches it, it's not a big deal if it's an old work knife. It really isn't. But if you're trying to clean them up and make them, you know, look nice, why, yeah, you gotta be careful with them. All right, let's work on these back springs, and then I want to work down in here just a little bit more. Okay, folks, I gave her a good soak in the mineral oil, and she's coming out looking pretty clean. I just want to give you some final thoughts here. First, before I forget, if you'll remember, there was some whiteness on this handle, and you can see it's all shiny and brown again. That's from the mineral oil. These some of these synthetic covers, they will gas out, as they say, and it'll leave like a white film on it. And the mineral oil helps restore these covers, or this handle. So yeah, Delrin and the material that Buck uses, their Velox, it will gas out after time. So a little soak in the mineral oil will just help restore those handles. Now, if we look over here, it looks like that heavy-duty pad, that first one I used, it looks like it did scratch the blade. The other less aggressive ones, I don't think did scratch it, but, you know, this is a work knife. Again, I'm not too concerned with the scratches. I'd rather have a few scratches like that than have heavy rust on it. So, but just a word of caution. Again, this is why you use these old knives, to test your methods out on. But yeah, there's some scarring there from that deep rust. We got Klein Tools, Chicago, USA, and there's an N. That's a date stamp there. I'm going to have to look that up. I did just polish these up. Didn't do any sanding on them. Just, you know, use a pad with a little bit of rubbing compound on it, and they cleaned up really nice. And down in our channels is looking really nice down in there too. So all in all, you know, it's a work knife. It's a heavy-duty work knife. Looks like somebody tried to sharpen it on a bench grinder. So that's the only downfall to this style of blade, is they're a little tough to sharpen sometimes. But anyway, I think she came out looking really well. We've preserved another piece of cutlery history. So folks, go out and have yourself a very delightful day.